Hello everyone, we are here at the Dallas Mega in Richardson, Texas. It's a little bit chilly today, so we appreciate Alex Massey coming and joining us today for the Mega and for the internship panel this afternoon. So we'll talk just a little bit about the value of internships, but Alex, first let's talk about what your role is at FSU.
Sure, I'm the corporate relations coordinator and I work with companies to help them get closer to the students, help them educate the students about their job openings and internship openings, and help them navigate the world of recruiting at the College of Business.
Okay, you're an alum of FSU, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so how weird is it to be going from being a student to now on the staff?
I really love it.
Okay.
I was an alum from a different college, and so business is new to me, but I love the student population, I love who I work with, and so it's just a really neat adventure.
Okay, now how have you seen the campus change, or some things that have changed since you were a student?
So many things have changed, so many things. For one, a lot of our buildings have come down and new ones have gone up, and so the physical landscape has changed a little bit. But I also think the level of student has changed. We're recruiting just top tier students, more so than any time in the last few decades, and our students are coming in smarter and more well prepared, and so that's a really big change to just see the level of student elevated like that.
Okay, let's talk specifically about those students in the risk and insurance track. So when I started many years ago, I won't say how many years ago, but many years ago, it was probably very different. We didn't have students who were actually targeting this industry. So what does that look like now from your perspective?
Yeah, students are coming in, and in those first 2 years, they're navigating College of Business and in a way to figure out what exactly they're looking for. And then once they decide that insurance is an option, a lot of our students who may not have understood that that's something that they can major in, that's something that they might have an interest in pursuing. They come out full force and they really jump into that program. And we've seen a lot of students take more interest in that in the past few years.
Okay. Now I've had an opportunity, thankful and very blessed opportunity to speak with a lot of the students, and they are just fired up about this industry. So I just want to really point out to the viewers who are watching is that we're all experiencing this talent gap. But these students who are coming in completely understand that whatever your passion is, you can find a space in the risk and insurance field. Are you finding the same?
Absolutely, and that's part of my job, is to help find different kinds of companies and different kinds of opportunities for students, so that it's not just you're going to major in this and then go directly into this career field in this track. That there are insurers with other companies, there are standalone insurers, there are national firms, there are regional firms, and to help the students understand what culture they're looking for and what they would fit best in with, and use those skills for just an array of different opportunities.
Right, and I think that's where the internships come in too, right? So tell me a little bit about the process of the internship. If a student is approaching their junior or senior year, I would assume that's the right time to apply.
That is absolutely the right time.
All right, so what's the application process look like for that?
Sure, so students, they go through a process either through the college or through our career center at the university, where the internships are posted just like jobs. Okay. And so they apply just like a job, and they have an interview depending on the company. So sometimes it's a phone interview, sometimes it's an on-campus interview, and sometimes it's multiple interviews. And so they find the best fit for them, and it's an opportunity for the company and the student to test each other out a little bit, and to have that non-committal time where they can see if that's the kind of culture, if that's the kind of company that they're looking for, and also for the company to figure out if that's the kind of student that they're looking for.
What do you think is the #1 thing that students gain out of that process?
Real world experience. They're in the classroom every day and they're learning all of these skills and knowledge, but they get to practice it, and they get to see some maybe bumps in the road that happen, that get some curveballs thrown at them that they might not have been aware of in the classroom. And so they get to interact with customers, and they get to interact with peers and colleagues, and also having an 8 to 5. They are responsible to be there at a certain time and to be there all day and not just have a class here or there. Right. And so it's an interesting change, but it prepares them for the workforce.
Right. So it's a practice work day.
An absolute practice, and it's a comfortable environment. Right. It's a safe place to fail. And so if they may need a little bit of help, that's the time to learn it, not in your first job where there can be some consequences.
Right. So on the reverse side of that, what do you think is the most beneficial part for a prospective employer for them to offer that internship?
Sure. I think there are lots of benefits. One is that you get the extra workforce, that you might have a project that's maybe on the back burner that is not necessarily as important as some other functions that are happening in the company, but now you have extra hands who can work on that and who can bring insight from a different perspective and from a different knowledge base. And so those students can work on that, as well as having just a different generation in the workforce. We found some companies where they haven't had turnover, and so they haven't had the need to hire, but they can bring in interns, and it's just a different perspective.
Right.
That's always, a fresh idea is always great, and that brings that diversity of thought.
Right, and gives them an opportunity to really look at that multi-generational pool of employees.
Absolutely.
Okay. How many internships would you say would be ideal for a student before they actually join the workforce?
We always recommend at least one,
okay.
But a lot of our students are doing 2 or 3, depending. We don't like our students to do them too early in their college career because they haven't had that experience yet. So we like them, especially if they're focused on an industry. So we want them to have those intro classes at least first.
Sure.
So maybe before their junior year and then after their junior year, leading into their final year. That's ideal, I would say.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've got a great pool of talent there at FSU.
They really are.
So part of this panel this afternoon is to really talk about what?
So the panel is to talk about the experience that employers and past interns have had in those programs, and to give a little insight to other industry folks who are interested in maybe testing the waters or seeing if that's something that they're looking forward to doing, and just to give them an opportunity to ask questions and to hear their experience with that.
Okay, so some real world, practical, hands-on discussions this afternoon.
Absolutely, yeah, and we'll go over different things of how to start an internship program, what kinds of things to look at even from an HR perspective and a hiring perspective. So we go over all of that.
Okay, so if there is an employer in Florida who is perhaps not part of your program yet, but wants to be after watching this and seeing some of the intern panel, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, Alex.
Thank you
we appreciate
so much.
it.